When I first started writing songs, there was a tendency to want to write it in a way where anybody can self-insert themselves in the situation and be like, yeah, that's happened to me before. I totally get that. I'm also writing more material that is a lot more observational and is like social commentary. So that's something that I think's also important, is to sing about what I'm observing and what's happening in the world, and to be able to, speak my truth about what I'm seeing based on my experiences. The exact moment in which I knew that I needed to be confrontational with writing a song like myself is while I was working on Songs of Our Native Daughters. It's a project I worked on with Rhiannon Giddens, Allison Russell, and Layla McCullough. The subject matter of that record was about the transatlantic slave trade and how that slave trade affected all involved during and after, all of the different social policies and cultural changes that arose because of that slave trade. I'd read and learned about it and had that knowledge of why things are the way they are now, but there are people to this day that, make comments and say things without really understanding why things are the way they are to begin with. And until we know why things are the way they are, it's hard to move forward and solve these problems. There are people that will swear up and down that there is no systemic racism, that doesn't exist, but the history shows that that does still exist, and I think a lot of people will say, well, it's personal responsibility, it starts in the home, and it's like all of these things are important. It does start in the home, but there is also a system that has been in play for a really long time that also has to be overcome and changed. So both things need to happen. As a community, as a society, there has to be this symbiotic connection. So anyway, I feel like this record is an attempt to capture that. So with Black Myself in particular, I wanted to try to encapsulate 400 years of history in 3 minutes, because at this point we'd already written most of the other songs. So this is one of the last songs that were recorded, and just after revisiting some of that history and reading slave narratives and thinking about my own experiences, even as a Black person that came from middle class and went to college, but still noticing and feeling some of the effects of racist rhetoric and ideas, and expressing how I was affected by it, I felt like was really important to try to encapsulate it with this song. And then with the final verse of the song, I wanted to capture that while to this day there are some people that still see being Black as a curse, the last verse is sort of transcending this idea of Blackness being a curse and it becoming a strength instead. It's like a symbol of continuing forward in the future to continue to make things better, and to hopefully bring more and more people to understand, why things have happened the way that they have, and to be able to see things clearly. Because, right now with, the social media algorithms and people going down echo chambers and people having a more and more difficult time discerning, fact from fiction, it makes it all the more challenging for people to really be able to understand one another a lot better. So yeah, the song's just kind of overcoming the tragedy and to, continuing to move forward to better understanding, and also recognizing the shoulders that I stand on of the people before me, to be able to even talk about my songs and express myself. I don't think that would have happened had people before me not fought for the right to do that. So.